Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Katie from Eclectic by Katie, and today we're going to be doing this lovely little granny square, and it is a very basic, very quick beginner tutorial on how to do a very simple basic granny square, and this is just using double crochet stitches. Now, if you haven't done double crochet stitches before, you can go over those in my beginner tutorials that I have already in the YouTube channel. So you can follow those and just practice your double crochet stitches before you take on something like this. It is very, very simple. I show you how to create a ring and how to do these double crochet stitches, and we will also be going over a standing double crochet, which allows you to get a nice finish to your granny squares and get them nice and finished off nicely, and makes it a lot easier for you when you are working on a granny square. You can of course do this in any weight yarn that you like, but I am today doing this in a size 4 worsted weight yarn, which is an Aran yarn, or you can do it in DK yarn if you wish, but it will be smaller. And I'm just going to do it in orange and green, so I'm just using this sort of lime green and orange. And the rest of the equipment that you will need is you will just need a stitch marker to start, and that is just to help you along if you are a beginner, just to do the initial ring, and I'll show you how to do that. You will need some scissors just to snip off your ends of each row, and you will need your trusty hook, so you'll need a 5mm hook if you're using a yarn like this, and you will also need a needle at the end, and that is just to weave in your ends. Okay, so I hope that's not too difficult, and I hope you enjoy this pattern. Actually, it's quite versatile, these granny squares. You can use them for all sorts of things. I like to make, I have some sunflower granny squares that I've made some lovely trousers out of, so if you have a look in the shop, you'll see the pattern for those if you want to take that on. But here is the pattern, and here is the tutorial on how to do a beginner granny square. Get your hooks ready. Okay, so we're going to start our granny square with orange. So we are going to start with a slip knot. Now, I have done slip knots in our previous tutorial, so if you just go over the beginner tutorials to start, but we need to go over our fingers like this, like an X, and then pull your loop through the back, hold on to that loop, and then pull it tight, just like that, and then put your loop over your hook for your slip knot. And we are going to start with a chain 4, so yarn over and pull your loop through, do that 4 times. So you have 4 chains on your hook, and then we are going to pop our stitch marker over the top of that chain. So if you just pop it onto your tail there and then pull it up to your chain, and then we are going to do what's called a slip stitch into our first chain. So we can work back 1, 2, 3, 4, so 4 loops from the hook, insert your hook, pull up your loop, so you have 2 loops on your hook, and then pull that first loop through the second one, and you should have something that looks like this. And you have your stitch marker there, which helps show you where the inside of your ring is. Now, you can start with a magic ring if you would prefer, but this I much prefer for especially if you're a beginner, and we are going to be working into that ring. So where your stitch marker is, pull it tight, it will show you the center of your ring. So we're going to start this first row with a chain 3. So yarn over and pull through 3 times. So that's your chain 3, and that is also going to act as your first stitch. So it's going to be your first double crochet, and we are going to be working double crochets into our ring. So we're going to do our first double crochet, so yarn over, insert your hook into your ring, and then pull up your loop. So you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through 2. So that's classed as 2 stitches. So we're going to do that again. So 1 more double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook into your ring, pull up your loop. So you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. And that will give you 3, what's classed as 3 double crochets, but it's a chain 3 and 2 double crochets. So we are now going to chain 1, so yarn over and pull it through for 1 chain, and then we are going to work in our next side. So this is going to be classed as our corner, and then we are going to be working in our second side, and we need to do 3 double crochets for this part. So yarn over, and you need to do 3 double crochets into this next part. So there's 1, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up your loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 2, and we need 1 more. And then we need to chain 1 for our next corner, and then we need to put our next side on. Now, because we've already done 2 sides, we can definitely see where the center of our ring is now. So we can take that out so it's not in the way, and then just continue on with 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. If I'm going too fast for you, please pause the video and just work at your own pace. Don't try and speed up. And then we need to do a chain 1 again. So we will end up with 4 corners, of course. And then we should have space for 1 more lot of 3 in here. So 3 more double crochets into that same ring. And then we are going to do our chain 1 as we have been, so that's going to create our corner, and then we are going to attach it to our initial chain. Now our chain 3 that we started with is right here, so 1, 2, 3, and we need to work a slip stitch into that 3rd chain, and that will close this row. Now the easiest way to go into our chain, we are going to be doing a slip stitch, and that will close the row. So we are going to insert our hook into that first bit of the chain at the front, because it will be a little bit tight, you see, so it's a little bit hard. So go into your first loop and then go into the back loop. So you need to go into both loops, a little bit tight. So you need both your loops. So it looks like you've got 3 loops here. And then you need to pull up your yarn, so yarn over, and then pull through your chain. So you have 2, and then pull through that loop so it joins all of them together. Okay, now we're going to finish this colour, so we're going to go on to a different colour. So we are going to snip off our yarn and leave a tail long enough for us to weave that in at the end. So yarn over and then pull through your yarn and pull it tight. Okay, so for our second row we're going to start with a standing double crochet stitch, and we are going to do this just because it's a little bit easier when doing granny squares than starting with a chain, as we did in that first row. Now what we're going to do is start with a slip knot as we have done previously, and then pop your loop onto your hook, And we are going to start with a yarn over as we normally would do with a double crochet stitch. So you would normally yarn over and then insert your hook into the stitch. So we are going to do exactly that. So we're just going to pop our hook into the space and then pull up your loop. So you have 3 loops on your hook, and then yarn over, pull through the first 2, and then yarn over and pull through those 2, as you would do it like a normal double crochet. So as you can see, it looks like just a normal double crochet stitch. And we are going to pop 2 more double crochets into that same space as you would normally. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up your loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so that is 3 double crochets, and because we are working in a corner, we also need to add 3 crochets for the other side of that corner. So we need to do a chain 1, as we will be doing in every corner, and then we'll add another 3 double crochets into that same space. So 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. Now for this row, we are only going to be working in the corners and getting the corner spaces together, and then in the next row we will start working on the sides. So we need to hop straight over to the next corner. We don't need any spaces or chains or anything in between. We just need to go straight into there with our double crochet stitch like that, and continue on, and we need to do 3 of those double crochets, then chain 1 and 3 double crochets into the same stitch, and we are going to do that for all 4 corners. So once you have done this one, hop straight over to your 3rd corner and do 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, and then do the same for this corner. Okay, and I shall see you at the end of this round. Okay, so once you have finished your final corner, it should look like this, and you will have a space in between. So this is the end of your row and this is the beginning. So the reason why I started with a standing double crochet is because when you get to this part, it's a lot easier to find your first stitch. So we are now going to be working in this first double crochet stitch in order to close our row, and we are going to do a slip stitch as we did in the last row. So we need to insert our hook into that first stitch, so you can work out where our first stitch is using these V's. That is our first stitch, so it's the first V, and then pull up your loop and then pull through, and that is a lot easier than doing it with a chain. So we're going to just trim our work, yarn over and pull through and tighten, and there you have it. So that is our second round, and we are going to do another 2 rounds. So I'm going to show you how you incorporate your sides in the next round. So we are going to start this round exactly the same as the last, and we are going to do our slip knot, pop that onto the hook, pull it tight, and we need to start with a yarn over for our standing double crochet stitch. Okay, and this time we are going to be working into this space here in between the 2 double crochet clusters. So we've got our cluster here for the corner and the other corner there, so we're working in this space. So insert your hook, pull up your loop as normal, so you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, then yarn over and pull through the final 2. And there you have your first double crochet stitch, and then you need to work 2 more double crochets into this space. So there's 1 more and 2. There you go, so it should look like that. And this time we're not going to be doing a chain 1. We're not doing any chains at all. We're going to hop straight into our corner. So we're going to yarn over and insert into the corner and do 3 double crochet stitches with a chain 1 and 3 double crochet stitches again. So what exactly the same as we did in the last row for our corners. So this is going to be our corner on every row from here on out. Doesn't matter how big you make it, it's always going to be the corner space. So as soon as you get to this chain 1 space, you do 3 double crochets, chain 1 and then 3 double crochets. Okay, so next we're going to be working into the second side, so straight into here. Again, we're not going to be doing any chains. We're going to work straight into that stitch, into that space here, and do 3 double crochets. So there's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, and 3 double crochets. And again, we're going to hop over to our corner, yarn over, insert your hook, and do your 3 double crochet stitches in there. Now, if I'm going far too fast for you, then please just pause the video at any point and then you can catch up. So that's your 3 double crochets, and then you want to chain 1 and then 3 double crochets. There's 1, 2 and 3. Okay, and next we are going to be working into our third side. So insert your hook into the center, and then you want 3 double crochets into this space, and then, as you've probably guessed it, we are going to hop straight over to our corner space and do 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. Okay, and then we're going to work 3 double crochets into the center space, and then do our final corner with 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, and I shall see you at the end of this round. Okay, so we've come to the end of this round now, so we need to attach, and we need to do that with a slip stitch into our first stitch again. So we need to do a slip stitch into the first stitch, and we do that by just inserting the hook into our V, so into that very first stitch, into both loops of your V, and then yarn over and then pull up 1 loop, so you have 2 loops, and then pull that first loop through your second, and that is your slip stitch. And now we are going to snip the yarn, and we are going to find the end. Be a good start. Then we're going to yarn over and then pull that yarn tail through, pull it tight so you have a nice finish, and that is what it should look like after round 3. So we're just going to do round 4. We're going to do this nice and quick, because in round 4 you'll be able to catch up with what the pattern is for each round thereafter. So you'll be able to make this granny square as big as you want to make it. So we are going to start with our slip knot again. So do your X and then through the back, pull up your loop, hold on to that and pull it tight. So pop your slip knot onto the hook, and we are going to do our standing double crochet to start. I'm going to move that out of the way so it's a bit clearer. So we're going to yarn over and hold on to both of our loops, and this time we are going to be working into our first space for the side. Okay, so just after our corner we're going to work into this space here. So insert your hook and pull up your loop, so you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, and then yarn over, pull through 2, and that's your first double crochet. And then we're going to do 2 more double crochets into this same space as we did in the last round. And of course I've got all my tails on the same space, so they're all coming to say hello. We'll pop them in the back. Right, so we'll do 3 double crochets into here, like so. And then we are going to hop over to our next space and put 3 double crochets into this space. So there's 1 and 2 and 3. And in our next space, of course, we have got our corner, so we are going to work 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, all into the same stitch in the same space. 1, 2 and 3 double crochets, and then chain 1, and then 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3. Okay, and then we are now working in the side, so we are going to do 3 double crochets into here, and then we work 3 double crochets into here, 2, and here's your third one. And then of course we are going to work into our corner next, so we need to do 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. Okay, so you continue on. Once you've done those last 3 double crochets, you do 3 in there, 3 in there, and then you do your next corner. So 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets in your corners, and then 3 in there, 3 in there, and then do your last corner. And then I shall see you at the end of this row. Okay, so I've just finished my last corner, and now we just need to attach the last stitch with the first, and of course we're going to do that with a slip stitch as we have done in the last 2 rounds. So we just need to insert our hook into this first stitch here, so into your first V that you see at the top. So if you turn your work, you'll be able to see this is our first V. So pop your hook through, so it's the one just after your knot. So your slip knot is here, and that is our first standing double crochet. So insert your hook, pull your yarn through, and then through, and that is your slip stitch, and then yarn over and then pull through your yarn tail so that we can then tie them off, get them nice and tight, and that is our granny square. And of course you would start on the next round, you would start here, and that would be your standing double crochet and 2 more double crochets into there to make 3, and then you would do 3 double crochets into there, and then 3 double crochets into there, and then you would do your 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. So this time you'll have 3 sets of 3 double crochets, not 2. Okay, so then you increase by 1 each time. Okay, so I hope that's quite easy to follow. you can certainly do this with any weight of yarn. You can do it thicker or thinner, depending on what you're going to be using this for. So I hope that was nice and easy. If you have any questions at all, obviously just drop your comments below. I'm more than happy to help you along. And if there's any more patterns that you would like me to do for you, then just drop me a comment and I can certainly do that in future videos. Have a great day, guys. Bye.